we found a lead business analyst whose passion for bread has brought him global recognition, and his name is Wale Rabiu.
Meet the business systems analyst who made headlines as the baker of the best AGEGE bread in Canada. Wale Rabiu, founder of Grey Matlock Bakery, was born in Ibadan, Oyo State, southwest Nigeria in 1975. He graduated from Olabisi Onabanjo University in 1999 with a BSc accounting degree and went on to earn a master's in managerial psychology from the University of Ibadan in 2016. He is also an alumnus of the University of Leicester, UK, where he earned an MBA in finance in 2007. In December 2017, he became a certified project management professional. Wale Rabiu started his professional career from Standard Trust Bank, now UBA, in 2002, before joining telecommunications giant MTN Nigeria in October 2002, where he worked as general ledger accountant until his resignation. He rejoined MTN in 2010 and rose to become the regional sales manager South-South, a position he held till 2015. With over a decade of experience in business process improvement and project and risk management in Nigeria, Wale Rabiu moved to Canada in 2016 with his family. He started off by joining Rogers Communications in Brampton, where he assisted the project team to develop and implement the Aptitude system, a revenue management software. Then, he saw a unique business opportunity.
The switch wasn't deliberate. It wasn't meant to be. All we wanted as a family then was more of have another source of income stream that we needed to not just rely on paid employment alone. And I think I need to add that immediately I got to Canada, based on my experience and expertise in telecoms in Nigeria, I was able to get a telecom job almost immediately, and I was in Rogers. Rogers is one of the biggest telecom operators in Canada. So that's where I started my life in Canada from. So it was after spending a year doing that, the entrepreneurial spirit in me came out. And even before we left the shore of Nigeria, myself and my wife, which is actually she's an integral part of the business, we knew we were going to take any business opportunity that comes our way in Canada.
Many still wonder why he chose to bank on Nigeria's traditional bread on a continent so far away from home.
So sometimes in 2017, shortly before we had our last born, my wife was pregnant. So she was craving for bread. All she wanted to eat was bread and sardine. So that was what led to, where is AGEGE bread? Where is Nigerian bread? And all the bread are available in the market. Like I said, the Ghanaian bread was tasting so close to our bread, but not exactly what we wanted or what she wanted. I was enjoying it anyway, but she wanted that Nigerian bread taste, and that's why we started thinking of, okay, if there's none and the Nigerian population is growing here, how come nobody has ever thought of starting a Nigerian bakery, since we have a large community, a relatively large community, and that's where it all started from.
To establish the bread business, he traveled back to Lagos, Nigeria's commercial nerve center, to learn the nuts and bolts of AGEGE bread making at a modest bakery. Armed with this experience, Grey Matlock Bakery produced its first commercial consignment of bread in 2018. The business has grown in leaps and bounds as AGEGE bread is available in over 300 African and Caribbean stores across Canada. Today, the company has 5 franchise locations in Calgary, Ottawa, Oshawa, Waterloo, and Windsor. The bakery also offers other successful products like Butterfield sliced bread, whole wheat bread, and bread buns. But AGEGE bread has become so popular in Canada that the mayor of Brampton visited the factory to acknowledge Matlock Bakery's performance, impact, and contribution to business in the city.
We've been touring small businesses in Brampton to really highlight hidden treasures. Wale came to Brampton in 2016, set up his own small business in 2018, And now this bread is so incredible. So you've opened up locations
Yeah, we have a
in
branch
other cities.
Yeah, we have a branch in Calgary. We have 4 different franchise locations: Waterloo, Oshawa, Ottawa, and Windsor.
And it all started in Brampton.
Wale, along with his wife and co-founder Omobolanle Rabiu, are not slowing down as they devote their time to helping other black-owned businesses in Canada set up operations and map out strategies to upscale operations. Their goal is to make the Matlock brand just as competitive as the renowned household bakeries in Canada and even beyond.
Coming up on Diaspora Network, we find out how Adewale Rabiu made the winning decision to bank on AGEGE bread. Welcome back to Diaspora Network. Let's hear more from the man behind the renowned Matlock Bakery brand.
We actually started the business in 2018. So it was a lot trying to navigate through the process of getting business licensing, the city approval for the licensing, getting even the landlords to agree to give a new immigrant, a commercial property. And the way it works over there is you need to sign a lease, you're bound by the lease. Even if you stop doing your business, you still have to pay out for the time you've signed on the lease. Let's assume you've signed a lease of 2 years. For some reason, the business failed after 3-4 months. You're still bound by that agreement. You still need to pay out on that lease agreement, you know. So it was difficult. So landlords are very careful allowing you to sign without them being convinced about your business plan. It's even a common thing that landlords will ask you for a business plan before they lease their commercial property to you. So those are some of the things we had to navigate through. Then the first place that we considered to start the bakery wasn't where we actually started. It was meant to be around where we live, the city of Milton, which is about 30 minutes drive to the city of Brampton. But we now look at the cosmopolitan nature of the city of Brampton. City of Brampton is like saying Lagos in Nigeria, where almost everybody in Nigeria will always have a relative, or every ethnic nationality, tribal and ethnicity in Nigeria that are represented in Lagos. Same thing with the city of Brampton, you know. So there were all sorts of immigrants when I'm also meaning the different ethnic nationalities, being the Asian, the Caribbean, the Africans, the Caucasian, even the original Canadians, the Aborigines. Everybody, you find them in the city of Brampton. So that's where we started the business, and that provided us a very beautiful opportunity to get introduced to almost all the ethnic nationalities. Then the city of Brampton, which is one of the best cities to us and to me in Canada, being the ease of doing business. You know, the city actually encourages and allows small business to grow. So ease of doing business was very, very favorable for us. So that's why we started in the city of Brampton. Nigerians in Canada, especially in Ontario, Toronto to be specific again, accepted and embraced the bread immediately. So that really helped us. There's no how we will be a national brand, and with all sense of modesty, I'm saying a national brand in Canada, you know, without the support of Nigerians. Because when we started, it was just a bread for the community, despite our vision to be everywhere in Canada. But we knew no matter what, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a step. So we knew we needed to start with our own people, and they embraced it, they accepted the products. You know, you can imagine walking into a grocery store, which is, African Caribbean grocery stores, that's where we started from. And you see somebody stepping out with 4 or 5 loaves of AGEGE bread, and you are from the Caribbean, you're Jamaican, and you'll be wondering, why is he buying that much? What's special about the bread? And those are some of the things that we saw happening then. You know, so the Nigerians accepted it, The next minute, we see the Jamaicans, the Caribbean people accepting the bread. Before them, the other African countries started buying the bread. But today, at times I'll just sit back. I'll drive to because we have 2 locations now, where we started from, and we have a new state-of-the-art facility. So I'll just drive to, where we started from, which is the headquarters of the business in Brampton, has a retail outlet. So I'll just drive and park, and I'll see the kind of people walking in. These are not Nigerians. That's not how we started 6 years ago in 2018. It wasn't like that way, you know. We started with just Nigerians. Then it moved to Caribbeans, Jamaicans buying the bread. Then the Asians, whether you're Chinese or Indians in Canada, we started having a taste of the bread. Then the next minute, we now see the Caucasians, the Canadians, all ethnic nationality patronizing us. And that made it very easy for us to grow out of the African Caribbean stores. And we now have the bread in the Real Canadian Superstore. We have it in No Frills, and these are big box supermarkets with thousands of branches across Canada. Importantly, quality and taste has to be number 1 for me, because in a competitive world, you can imagine walking up to a supermarket and you see like 20 different types of bread, brands of bread, and that's what you see in Canada. And I'll say this, somebody actually joked with me or said something like, why do you want to start a bakery? Who told you they're going to buy your bread? Look at the number of bread already on the shelves of an average supermarket. And I said, no, they don't have a Nigerian bread there. And that is what we started with, and that's what we're doing. See, we look at the model of the Chinese cuisine, Chinese food. Where in the world are you going to walk into and you won't see, oh, this is Chinese rice, Chinese food? They'll always be there. And that's what we plan to do with Nigerian cuisine, AGEGE bread. So today, we're in almost everywhere in Canada. There are 10 provinces and territories in Canada. We can safely say we're in 6 of those provinces already. We're in Calgary, we're in Ottawa. We ship the bread to British Columbia. We ship it to New Brunswick. We ship it to Prince Edward Island. We ship it to Newfoundland, Nova Scotia. These are different provinces, like our equivalent of states in Canada. And this cut across east to west of Canada. So it's quality, and that is what I think is the most important thing, and consistency with the quality. So many challenges will always come up when you're trying to set up a business, especially when you're doing it outside your own environment, outside where you've grown up over 40 years, you know, just being 2 years in Canada. But the first thing that came my way was the funding for the business. We didn't anticipate the amount of fund that will be required. The initial outlay is a lot of money. Unlike here, where manual processes can be adopted and people will do it, you know, a lot of our processes has to be automated. So which means you need machines that can do some of this. An average bakery in this part of the world will probably not have up to 25% of the investment you need over there. You're not going to get anybody to use hands to mix dough for you in Canada. Nobody's going to do it. You're probably not going to get anybody to use hands to mold it apart from mixing. No, you're not going to get that done. But these are things that you can get away with if you're setting up a bakery here. So automation, and the cost of buying the equipment, which is part of the startup cost, was a major challenge for us. And immediately we were able to solve that. Of course, being new in Canada, you don't have credit profile. You're new, you don't even have access to credit. Even if you're going to get a facility from the bank, they don't know you in terms of a business, a new business. All we needed to do then was to look for ways of, we call it asset transfer. Some of the things we have that can be sold off because we don't need them. Getting some money from family and friends, which came handy to help us to set up the business without unnecessarily incurring interest rates that will come with taking a loan from the bank. But these are normal things that is in the business. But the one that really shocked us was nobody to work, no bakers to recruit in Canada. And that was when I now realized, okay, why are we in Canada? It was just because Canada said they're looking for workforce, they have aging workforce, they need people to come and work. That's what led us to, most immigrants in Canada. Up to today, I think when I moved to Canada, the population was about 35 million, but today is about 30 million. So which means in the last 7 years, Canada has been able to, through immigrants, increase the population. And this is a statistic that's confirmed by the government of Canada. The population of Canada actually grew. 98% of it is through immigrants. So 2% is just growth from maybe childbirth and stuff like that within Canada. It's basically immigrants that have grown the population of Canada. So we now had our own fair share of lack of people to do the job. But like I said, the government will always provide a way around some of these challenges that business will have to overcome. And how did we do that? Or we work with the government. There's something called LMIA, which is Labour Market Impact Assessment, which means as a company or as a business, if you are able to find required skill sets within Canada, you are allowed to bypass all of the immigration routes for people coming to Canada to recruit from abroad. So how do you recruit people to bake AGEGE bread? You have to come back to Nigeria. So today we have 4 people that we've gotten approval for 6 people from the government of Canada. 3 of them have landed and they're working with us right now in our bakeries locations in Canada. In the next couple of weeks, 2 weeks, the 4th guy will be joining them. And maybe before the end of the year or next year, the last 2 will come. So I will always advise people, let the quality be top notch. Don't compromise on the quality. So that's one of the things Nigerians liked about our product, which helped every other ethnic nationalities to accept the product in Canada.
Ever since I first tried your bread, I knew this was going to be a success story. You can't match the magic of Nigerian bread. And I shared a video last year about our tour of your headquarters in Brampton, and it went viral. It went viral. Our city's love for your bread. I've said this many times. My son will only eat. He's 4 years old. He's already made himself. He's made his decisions. He will only eat Wale's bread. Because
And that's yet another example of a Nigerian gaining respect and recognition abroad through creativity and entrepreneurship. And that's the show. You can catch all episodes of Diaspora Network on our YouTube channel. And of course, there's a lot more on our website. I'm Ijoma Onyato. See you next time.